everyone, and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name is Adam Sykes, the founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform. And today I've got with me
Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
And Phil Whitby, developer at SwiftCase.
Great. So today we're going to talk about statistics and how they're sometimes misinterpreted, or whether they're myths or people using statistics in the wrong way. Basically, because in the news recently over in the UK, we've got the Conservative Leadership Contest, and there's been various things obviously being thrown around, but one of the videos that came back to maybe haunt one of the contenders was Rory Stewart. One of the contenders of the Tory Leadership Contest was recorded on, I think it was Sky News or something like that, couple of months ago, when he was talking about the Brexit deal. He said 80% of people back this deal, and when he was challenged on this, he went, I'm just picking a figure out of the air that supports what I believe. And then he subsequently apologised for this, because he'd effectively used stats that were completely made up because he believed that that's what the stats should be. And so we get lots of people who use stats to back up their back up their argument, and there's always the lies, damn lies in statistics that people come to. And I suppose we wanted to talk about how people sometimes get the wrong end of the stick of what a stat actually is.
Well, they're so easy to make up as well, aren't they?
Like whether they actually are true, and maybe some common ones that we've come across that are just complete rubbish.
Yeah, there are. The thing is, they can be true and still be rubbish. So it can be an accurate measurement, and it can be absolutely, honestly, scientifically correct in their measurement, but there are other factors that have to be considered about whether it's a true reflection of reality or not. Yeah. Like, I did an article the other day about the Drake case. Yeah. This is an example of people's statistical reasoning.
Yeah,
they're correlating the presence of Drake and then the subsequent
correlation, not causation.
Well,
isn't it?
But it it's not. There's even a website called Spurious Correlations, which tells you how well things can correlate almost to perfectly, but they're completely unrelated. So the number of suicides related to per year in America related to the number of Nicolas Cage films released or something like that. And even that's like one of the most basic ones, is correlation is not equal causation. If that's news to somebody, they've never heard that before, you can be absolutely sure that they will be full of misconceptions about statistics. Yeah.
But they're just used just made up completely. So you get things like that you only use 10% of your brain, which is just is completely.
Well, they based the whole film on that, didn't they?
That
Lucy film.
It's
just nothingness.
But apparently it came about because some guy did a study on an autistic boy or something, and he said we're not all using our full potential.
Yeah.
And that was sort of
misconstrued
as being, we're not using all of our brains, but it might be true that we use parts of our brains at any one time, but all parts of our brains are engaged.
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point. So
they're all used for different.
Yeah. So I think, and also people see like MRIs or whatever. You see the colour maps.
You see some activity.
Yeah, and they go, look, see, that's the 10%.
That's working.
Yeah. And it's like, if that was just that makes no sense.
The danger of that.
If you used all your brain at once,
exactly.
You'd be having a stroke.
You've with that, then you've got people making films, haven't you? That's the danger of it when you tell someone this, lies. People are gonna take it on, so they're gonna be like, well, what if we could use the extra 90% of our brains?
Let's do some research into it.
Yeah, let's waste some money on
and it's really destructive.
It's fair enough to think I'm not reaching my potential. I think that's fair enough.
But it's when you attach to 10%, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's funny how you can what is it? A broken clock is right twice a day. So people can move through their lives with all these misconceptions, yet still have this kind of growth mindset. So someone could be like,
the outcome of the statistic is beneficial.
Potentially, yeah.
It's whether there's sometimes, like the 80% of the Brexit deal, where the outcome, if everyone believed that, would be negative, because everyone go, everyone thinks that this is great.
Yeah.
Let's go along with that. And statistics are used to kind of
bolster an argument.
Yeah, but also to help people take advantage of herd mentality, that everyone else thinks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So I should think like that, and if 80% of people believe that, then I should
the
believe
majority
that.
can't be wrong.
And you get social proof like websites are saying, you always get it, don't you? It's always especially beauty products. 9 out of 10 women
they have to do
dentists this and so on, or however many dentists. If you look at the very bottom of the small print,
out of like 12,
it'd be like 9 out of 10 out of 5 women.
Yeah,
it's rounded up.
We always comment on that at home actually, because it's hilarious when you look at any of the percentages at the bottom. It's always like 77% of 80 women.
Yeah,
it's never like an incredible number, is it?
So the sample size of polls is obviously very important when you're doing especially if you're going to extrapolate across the population. So obviously in political polling, you'll get some polls and they'll be like, we spoke to 100 people. So but what do the other 40 million people think? So
even if they did thousands,
you've got to have a reasonable cross section that is also.
It's got to be
contained, there's also a diverse cross section that is randomly selected.
Because you have gerrymandering, right? So you can have gerrymandering in polls.
Exactly.
And so it's not like, and even that could be a large number. So if you, with the sort of gerrymandering effect, you could easily canvass millions of people that believe that Trump is a great president.
Yeah.
His approval rating, you could do it so they had an approval rating.
Well, they did it recently with, it was in the newspapers the other day with Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Because what happened was there was a poll, it was something to do with a poll about which of these candidates of the Tory leadership contest would be the best Prime Minister, or would you support as a Prime Minister, or something around that. But effectively, they'd extrapolated it back, that it was heavily biased for which of these do you actually know. So obviously whoever came up top was the most well-known politician. It wasn't an actual analysis of their chances of winning the general election. It was just the fact that the one who came top was more well-known than the one who came at the bottom, and it would be better, the headline should have been, which politician is the best known out of these. That's what the poll had been, was made. But it had been extrapolated to, this would be what the general election number of seats would be.
Yeah.
So they'd taken one poll that was like nothing to do with it and extrapolated on the extrapolation to create some fictional future event. And this happens a lot. And this can it can happen in business, can't it? If people are taking management information to make decisions, but they're not taking the right, they're not asking the right question, or they're not taking account of the right caveat. They're not comparing like with like they're comparing last month to the previous month, but last month they actually spent £10,000 on extra advertising, and going, well, what if we did that? Whoever's doing the work this month did better than last month.
Exactly.
Who was off on holiday?
Sometimes it's a way.
They mustn't be pulling their weight or something.
Yeah. Sometimes as well, it's a way for people to push their own agendas, isn't it? Really. Yeah. Like if they're kind of taking these stats and, like you said, skewing them so it fits a certain story and motive, and I think it just.
I think there's no way to avoid that, though. I think that's the nature of it. I think somebody would say that the popularity is probably a good metric of success in a general election anyway. Like recognisability is like the key index by which you measure someone. And I don't know how did the guy who successfully predicted the US general election when Obama got in, Nate Silver.
Signal on the noise.
Yeah. But you see, my point is,
it's the guy.
Stop clock twice a day.
Yeah.
Lots of people probably came up with their theories about who was going to be elected and methods of doing it. And when someone gets it right.
Yeah, but that's like the argument about getting all my books off the shelf. You get like the Nassim Taleb argument, which is like about like sort of people who do invest in stock traders.
That's right. Yeah.
It's effectively the people who win are the people who carry on in the industry. So of course the people who are at the top are the ones who've always won. Yeah. Because they've never lost.
Exactly. But if it was down to chance.
There's
always going to be someone there.
Yeah, the person at the top is just one of like all the hundreds of thousands who didn't win.
Yeah. It's like lottery.
It's no measure of their actual ability to predict the future. It's just the fact that in the past they've been on the right side of chance. And if you actually, one of the ones is Darren Brown. I don't know whether we've spoken about this in the past, where Darren Brown did he's the mentalist. He does very sort of mind tricks and like things like that. And he did the episode about the horse racing. And what he did was he said to people, I've got this ability to always pick the right horse. I can go up and go to the window and we'll pick the right horse and you'll win every time. You give me your money and we'll put whatever you win though, you've got to promise me we put it on the next horse. And by the end of like 15 races or whatever the number of races was, you can have all the money. It's yours to take, but you've just got to promise me that when you win, we've got to put it all on the next horse, and you believe in my system that we did it. And you watch the episode, and the first bit of the episode is just like, I think it was a woman who like basically was following with him, and he'd done it with him, and he just did it, and she was like amazed that she like put her money on, double their money, triple their money, whatever, all the way right to the end. And you saw this whole program where he'd gone like, that's it. And like it went to the break, it came back, and he went, now I'm like going to show you how I did it. And like what he did was, he started off with like, however many hundreds of people, where he didn't actually go out and film with those ones. He just went, here's the prediction, put it on this horse. And he just had people that were covering every horse on every race. So he had enough people to know that he could, over all the horse, say there was 5 horses a race, because they're only like the standard horse racing, not like the Grand National. He knew he could cover 5 horse people, then the next one he'd have to have 5, so he'd have to have enough people who were all on horse 1 that won for the next time to do horse 2 that won or whatever. So he worked out the numbers and worked out a pyramid so that by the end there would definitely be someone who had won, because he just worked out the percentages.
If there's 5 races, you need 25 at the beginning. It'd always be 5 for each one. And then 5.
So you'd always have someone who would win. And the whole episode was based on this premise that he could explain to people. But if you looked at it just from the end result, you picked one person and you had a 100% success rate.
Exactly.
Because the sample size is 1, and you happen to pick the one where.
And that's what's happening when you with your Warren Buffets and your anyone, not Bill, any of the other investment bankers. In fact, Kahneman did he went to the one of the blue chip traders and said, give me your best traders for the last 20 years. And when he looked, there was different traders every year. But they all got bonuses based on how they apparently performed that year. And when he told them, look, this is basically, if you just instead of dealing and buying and selling stocks in that year, you just done nothing for the entire year, you would have had a better return across the company. You would have had an average 3% return. You had 2.5% or 2.7%, whatever it was, with everyone buying and selling stocks. If you just not done anything, it would have been a better year. Now, why are you giving bonuses to people who are basically just randomly gambling stocks? Because, and they go, oh, it's for performance because they've done well. And said, but if it was performance, you'd have the same people doing well each year. But it's not. It effectively changes randomly. So why are you still giving performance-based bonuses, right? And then they go, oh, well, we're going to still do it because
that's just how it works.
It's how it works, and we don't want to demoralise people. We don't want to lose the best talent. And you're like, oh,
you don't get it.
You don't get it, do you? It's got nothing to do with talent. No. Somehow the idea, it's just to justify this money going upwards. Is that there is somehow talent and things based on it.
I disagree with the Warren Buffett one though, because I think he deals differently. Without getting into a technical the different ways of trading. Some people look for patterns. And like he has all sorts of graphs and things. He actually invests in companies that he actually goes in and sees how they work. He's more of a Dragon's Den type of investor.
But we can't be sure, can we then?
But he's been successful because he's picked.
But has he?
No. What I'm saying is he's picked well based off evidence that he thinks is okay, and over the long term he's done okay. But there are other people who literally don't even look at the underlying structure of a company. They would just pick off the fact that a stock has done this on a graph and then is doing this. So that looks like X pattern based off some statistical analysis that says this has got an X% chance of being great. It's like playing poker, isn't it?
I was going to say that's exactly the same, isn't it?
Poker, you can win. You can't win, definitely. You can only help your chances. Blackjack, you can't win, definitely. You can improve your odds by understanding the statistics.
Yeah, there are really good
There's ways to improve.
It's understanding when you should or shouldn't take the punt.
But it's still a gamble.
Exactly.
I suppose that's the
it's
point,
still
isn't it?
it's still chance.
We still don't know, even though Warren Buffett is using rational behaviour.
Yeah,
we don't know for sure.
No, because he doesn't know all the.
Yeah,
you don't know all the measurements, do you? You don't know whether something else completely different. It's the length of hair.
Because that still might be it might be a fantasy.
Yeah.
It just so happens that, chance, even if it's 50-50, has fell on his side, and he's just that one guy.
Yeah.
So even
unless you notice, like, I suppose there are some people, I suppose, who notice fundamental issues with the system, like The Big Short.
Oh yeah.
Where they noticed that there was a fundamental problem with the way that subprime mortgages were, and they noticed that. And people, even though we were telling them, were going, no, it's making money, so we're okay.
Yeah.
And they had the guts to sort of stick with it. Then I suppose that's when proper research and evidence-based thinking can outweigh the sort of the what everyone else thinks.
Apparently, but there was somebody who worked out the random number generation system that the lottery ticket, for the scratch lottery tickets.
Oh yeah.
There's a random number generator. It's not truly random. So a PhD student in random theory knew how computers generate random numbers, and then worked out where the locations of where the high winning scratch tickets would be in the country, and then just went to those places, bought like 10,000 tickets, and then won millions. So that's a really good example of an apparently disordered, chaotic, random system being exploitable with enough knowledge. Yeah, that's definitely true, because they definitely want it.
Yeah, and people think we'll get onto randomness. Maybe we do that another time. But there's certainly an idea that people think things should be random. Yeah. And things can't be random, don't look random enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like the
so
idea
when it's truly random,
it's truly random. It looks like there's a pattern or whatever. So I think we can come on to another thing there. We're looking at fooled by randomness.
It's like the lottery, isn't it? Really, you put the same numbers on. You're like, oh, well, that came up like 2 months ago. It can't come up again.
Yeah. But that just exposes how ridiculous it is to think that any numbers particularly come up.
Yeah, exactly.
And if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not as like
as likely as
any other number.
Yeah.
Because anyway, we'll come on to that next time, because that's probably more about probability than and randomness than statistics. But hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and if you've got a favourite statistic that is a myth, or a favourite statistic that is helping you to improve your growth, whether you think about the 10% of your brain and how it actually is a useful statistic as a mindset thing rather than actually being a true statistic, then drop those in the comments below. We'd be interested to see those.
Yeah, I mean, if we can help you out with some statistics, head over to our social media at SwiftCase UK, and also check out our website, swiftcase.co.uk.
Don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell for the notifications of when the next episode's available in this series and in any other series that we do.
Yep, and thanks for listening to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast, and we'll see you again next time.